All right, guys, today we're moving on to the green highlight on this page, and it's different for each project. So again, I'm going to go over them in order from experiment to demonstration / research project, and then finally the invention, okay? So if you're doing an experiment, you are going to write about your data collection and observations. Okay, so this should be relevant data that supports your conclusion. Okay, so any measurements you took, any numbers should go in this box, or anything that was really important or stood out in your experiment. Okay, data should be recorded accurately and precisely, so make sure your measurements are very accurate if you're doing measurements, or any numbers are very accurate. Okay, observations can describe the patterns or trends or the unexpected outcomes that are supported by your data. So maybe something surprised you. This would be a good place to list it here. Okay, anything you observe with your experiment should be placed on this slide. Okay, this is also where you're going to talk about your how you're testing your hypothesis. Okay, so your experiment should test whether your hypothesis is true or false. So you might need to go revisit your hypothesis, what you thought would happen with this experiment, and see if your experiment proved your hypothesis correct or if it didn't. And it is okay if you were wrong on your hypothesis. That's sometimes the best projects, because maybe if you're thinking one way, the rest of us are probably thinking a different way too. So it's okay if your hypothesis isn't correct. That's completely fine. You should demonstrate that you have used good experiment techniques and make sure to describe your experiment clearly in detail, okay? So that should all go on this slide right here if you're doing an experiment, okay? If you're doing a demonstration or research project, you're going to write a report for this slide. And if you're doing a research project, this is probably going to be one of your most important slides, because this is where you're going to share all of the information you learned with your research. Okay, so with your report, you should communicate what you have learned about your topic, whatever your topic was. What did you learn about it? Okay, you should look at, through your research, you should look at books online. You could talk to experts. Remember, you can always use this research resources document that we used a lot for Colorado Day. And then you're going to write a report that communicates what you have learned about your topic. They should include the scientific concept you are researching. They should include background information on your topic, why you chose your topic, and what you learned or concluded. So if you're wondering what you should write about in your report, that sentence tells you every single thing that you need to write about. Okay. Also, your report should be done by you. It should not be done by your parents. Okay. We're looking at your writing. Okay. Not anyone else's. Okay. That's really important that you make sure that you're writing this on your own. Your parents can help you proofread and make minor changes. But remember, this should be your project, not your parents. Okay. So with this report, it should be in paragraph form. Okay, so if you really like using the claim evidence reasoning template or the RACE template, you can always use that structure to write your report. But I think like one solid paragraph would be a great amount of information. You don't need to write any more than a paragraph. If you want to write more, that's completely fine. But this should really sum up what you learn about your topic. Okay. All right, so if you're doing an invention, on your slide 5 here, you're going to have a diagram of your project and a description of how it works. Okay, so let me flip over to this slide over here, to your invention directions, and we're going to look at the green highlights here. Okay, so you're going to create a clear and labeled diagram of your invention and explain how your invention works. So what I would recommend for this slide is that you actually take a picture of your design, and you could either make a diagram on paper and upload that picture here, or what you could do, I know you guys have been using the drawing tool in math. You could take a picture, upload that picture, and then you could use these lines or arrows or any of these drawing tools to create your label diagram. Okay, so make sure your parts are labeled. You guys could easily do that with what you're doing in math, using these lines and everything to create an actual label diagram. Okay. You're also going to explain how your invention works in this slide. And you can do that in steps. You can do that in paragraph form if you'd rather do that. You can write a couple sentences. That's really up to you how you want to do the directions for your invention. Okay. So again, this just gives you some more detail of what you need to do with your diagram. It says create a clear and labeled diagram of your invention. And like I said, you can either do that on paper and upload it here, or you can use those tools that you've been using in math. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. But that is your slide 5 for your project, Google Slides.